Hi and welcome everybody. The course titled Wireless Security and its Physical Layer Aspects. I'm very excited to have you in this course. It's the first course on this exciting domain called wireless security. And in this course, we'll be covering the following topics. We will, at the beginning, before we get started, we will give you a brief introduction about wireless in general, then about the security in wireless systems and the main concepts in this domain, then compare wired versus wireless networks and the differences between them from the security perspective. Then we will quickly review the OSI layers and their security mechanism. You know, the layers we have from the application, presentation, session, transport, network, MAC, data link, and physical layer. We need to quickly review these layers because at each layer there is a certain specific security mechanism that's being implemented in order to guarantee and some of the physical security requirements. Then after that, we'll explain to you and talk to you about the main security requirements in wireless networks, including Wi-Fi networks, Bluetooth networks, LTE, 4G, 5G, and so on, all the wireless networks, even RFID and sensor networks. Then after that, we will explain to you the attacks and the threats and vulnerabilities that exist in wireless networks in all the OSI layers, starting from the application to the network, from the application through the transport to the network to the physical layer at the bottom. Then after that, after we explain these threats and attacks and discuss some of the recent advances, some of the recent attacks and recent vulnerabilities in this domain, we will explain to you the methods and the protocols and paradigms that are used to secure the wireless networks against previous attacks. So here we will discuss many methods related to guaranteeing confidentiality, authenticity, integrity, and availability, as well as privacy of your network. After that, we will tell you and give some reasons about why the currently employed security mechanism and security algorithms are not sufficient enough to achieve robust perfect secrecy and robust perfect confidentiality. And we will tell you the exact reasons for that. There are maybe more than 10 reasons. We'll go over them one by one and give examples, and then suggest and explain to you why physical layer security, applying security at the physical layer, is going to be the ultimate solution for addressing all the previous problems. After that, we will talk about and discuss wireless jamming attacks and their countermeasures. Not only the attacks that exist in jamming, and describing their types and their different procedures, but also how to overcome these jamming attacks. Then we'll give you some hardware implementation examples where you can implement practical attacks and build defense approaches against these attacks and threats in the wireless networks. So basically, you will be learning how to do these things that we will talk about them theoretically, and how to not only implement them, but also how to defend against these attacks. Now, and at the end, we will talk about the open challenges, the opportunities, the future projections, and some recommendation, which is going to be listed at the end of the course. So, wireless, why wireless? I mean, the title of the course is Wireless Security. Why do we care about the security of wireless communication networks? Simply because wireless is around us, is everywhere. Wireless technologies are expanding to each and every aspect of our life. We have Wi-Fi always surrounding us. You are always, most of the time, connected to Wi-Fi while you are being locked down inside your home during the pandemic these times. So you are always connected to your Wi-Fi network or 4G or LTE or even in the future 5G and 6G. If it's not Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and 4G and 3G and 2G, GSM and so on, you have Bluetooth, you have WiMAX, Zigbee, RFID, near field communication. Near field communication, for example, you use it in your payment card. When you go to the store, to the shop, to the mall, you just shop and buy your stuff, your items, and when you go out and you want to exit the shop, you just pass by the cashier and use your card to buy for the items you have bought. The technology used to implement this is near field communication. If an item you forgot inside your basket and you get out of the market and there is an RFID tag inside that item that quickly notifies you that there is something. So the technology used to detect this is RFID. So this is in terms of wireless technologies and wireless infrastructure. What about the wireless devices? We have like, well, most of the devices we are dealing with these days are connected all the time wirelessly, starting from your phone, smartphone, your laptop, your tablet, your smart TV, your smart camera, wireless camera, or even wireless wearable devices like smartwatches and others. Even there are smart rings. So basically, our devices are mostly wirelessly connected these days, and we cannot live without using these devices. Just imagine yourself a day or a few days without your smartphone. I just tell me how would your situation become, and how long can you be away from your phone? How long can you stay not checking your phone? I mean, it has become like an addictive things. You are addicted to using your phones and the internet and computer and laptop, and you cannot stay away at all from these indispensable devices that become integrated in our life. So what's the driving factor? Why do we use these wireless devices? If someone asks us, why do we use these all wireless technologies and wireless devices? The simple answer is because of the amazing applications that are available on these devices. We can go to Apple Store or to Google Play and just see the infinity amount of applications that are useful to our daily life, starting from social networking, messaging, personal messaging, uh, and like many infinity number of applications that are uh, unbelievably helpful and useful to our life. So each one of you, when you open his phone, will find several applications for messaging, including WhatsApp, Telegram, Beep, Signal, whatever. I mean, when you go to the social media, you have Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, many social media applications that are being installed in your phone because of the value that you feel you get from these applications. You're always in need of communicating with your friends, with your family, with your people, with your community, with the people who have the same interest as you. And due to these amazing advantages and amazing uh, benefits that you get from the applications, you are always attached to them, and you are always checking your device. You are always having your device next to you. You cannot even go outside of your home if you are not taking the phone with you. And nowadays, with the pandemic and the online education and distance learning, it becomes unbelievably important and crucial in our life, to the level where you cannot even conduct any work without having your wireless devices. So this shows you how much wireless is being penetrated in our daily life, is being used in our daily life. And there is no question about the importance of wireless. I mean, everybody should be learning about wireless, studying how these wireless systems work. But one of the key things that are more important than even how wireless work or how things are being connected and communicating over the internet or over the wireless network is how to secure these networks, how to provide security for them, not only using them, not only deploying them, but also securing them. Why securing them? Because it's extremely ridiculous to take your card out of your packet and put it on the website if you are not sure that the website is extremely secure, if you are not sure that your mobile phone is secure. I mean, since I told you that wireless is becoming an indispensable part of our daily life, then you are doing all your transaction and all your communication, all your messaging, all your data, all your activities are being done within your device. If you are buying online, if you are talking with your friends using a messaging application or whatever, and your data is being transferred using a wireless network, which is Wi-Fi or 4G or LTE or whatever, and being sent to your friend, and you are not sure that what you are doing is really secure and nobody can hear it or hack it or modify it or manipulate it or whatever, then you will never ever use your phone. And that's why companies always keep telling us, assuring us that your data is secure, the WhatsApp application is secure, we have end-to-end encryption, nobody can hear you, nobody can listen to your communication, your messages are not stored on our website, and if you were not to trust them, you would not use the application. But since you are trusting them, you are okay using the application. And even with just single one bad reputation about security, like privacy, it can kill the reputation, it can kill the success of a certain application. Like WhatsApp recently, they said that they will sell the user data, or they will make it available for advertisers and this and that. You saw how many people just left WhatsApp application and started searching for other alternative applications instead of WhatsApp. So this shows you how critical and how powerful and influential security is in these kind of applications and in these devices. So this is why security is important, and more specifically wireless security. And this is why do we need such a security? Why we need such a security algorithm in our systems? So the points I have just mentioned are summarized in the following few points. As you can see in the slides, we have the infrastructure in terms of wireless technologies from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G, which is being deployed right now in the world, and in the future 6G even. Wi-Fi, we have Wi-Fi, WiMAX, we have Li-Fi even, getting your data from the light. And the services are really proliferating with the goal of meeting rapidly increasing demands, because there is a huge surge in the data consumption in the world these days. So everybody on the internet, everybody using Wi-Fi, there is a huge congestion, huge data consumption, and nobody is able to meet the huge demand on the internet data. More specifically, I mean, yeah, if I ask you, are you happy with the speed of the internet at your hometown or your country or your city? Most of you would love to have a faster internet where you can, for example, download a movie with 1 second instead of waiting for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I mean, everybody is having the problem of being limited with the speed and limited with the storage. see your phone, your smartphones. Most of the time, you replace them. Why? Because of storage. You consume a lot of data, and you save this data usually on inside your phone, or you are like WhatsApp. Just check your WhatsApp application on your phone and see the amount of data being used and consumed by WhatsApp, especially if you are seeing videos on WhatsApp and downloading. You will find out that the amount of information being consumed and saved on the storage of your phone exceeds like tens of gigabytes. And this will just, at the end of the day, eventually it will just exhaust your phone and fill the memory, and you will be forced somehow to like try buy a new phone, because I need more space. Because I'm using more data, I'm downloading more videos, I'm sending more videos, I'm sending too much text messages, and too many, like all these things force the industry to develop technologies that can provide us faster internet, higher speeds, and devices with much larger storage. And this is fact, actually. Everybody is seeing this and witnessing this. And nowadays, securing wireless is important, because like 80% of the world population almost is now using the internet. More than 7 billion people, according to the ITU statistics. So unbelievable. Each and every human being on earth is expected in the coming years to be using the internet. So this tells us that this is going to be an epic. Everybody should pay attention to this field. Everybody should, and especially the companies and institutions and the future engineers, should pay much more attention to the security of wireless, because our data, our everything in life, starting from social media applications, messaging applications, financial data, whatever, it's all being transferred wirelessly to the network using Wi-Fi or LTE or 4G or whatever. And we need to secure this. We need to make sure that our data is secure. Nobody is playing us or just lying to us, saying your data is secure while it's not secure, saying that we don't break privacy while they are breaking privacy, saying that we don't sell your information while they are selling my information. It's very critical. Beside that, there are most of the day, just recently, you hear so many news about hacks and attacks and breaches going on the wireless networks. Like there are people, recently it was reported that more than 83 billion euros, with an estimated 556 million users worldwide impacted by cybercrime each year. And most of these cybercrimes are wireless, like including malicious attacks, computer hacking, data forging, financial information theft, online polling, stalling, whatever. All these kind of attacks are being conducted each and every day. And we need something. We need mechanisms, we need tools, we need techniques, we need methods, we need approaches and schemes that can prevent and stop this. All the currently employed security algorithms being used on the web are temporarily secure. Like in the old days, you hear, for example, we used to secure the accessing the Wi-Fi network using WPA, Wi-Fi protocol access, and that was hacked. Then they produced a new one, WPA2, then WPA2 advanced, and so on. So it's a matter of time to hack these systems, because they are all computationally secure, based on the assumption that nobody can hack our device, nobody can steal, nobody has enough computational power resources so that he can hack the security algorithms that's being used, which is a wrong assumption usually. Due to all these reasons, it's very critical that we improve the wireless communication security to fight against cybercriminal activities. Considering the fact that more and more people are using wireless networks for many sensitive applications like online banking, I would ask you now, how do you use your bank account? You tell me I have an application on my phone installed and I am connected to my Wi-Fi access point at home. I just plug in there and access my data. You need to make sure that this is secure. You need to make sure this is secure not only for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You need to make sure that this is going to be secure for forever. Because you are always using this. And any breaches or attacks or threats on your online banking is gonna cost you a fortune. It's your money. Nobody can tolerate this. It's such an important and critical thing. Not only online banking, but also emails and texting, and it's very critical information. You need to send certain important information to your friend, to your whatever, to your family, and you don't want anybody to hear about you or to know that you have sent this message or what you sent. So how can you do this? You need to produce and develop extremely secure algorithms. And most importantly, if you want to be really secure, you want to develop your own applications, because you see the applications on Android and this when you come and download them. Before you download and they click OK, they ask you, we want access to your phone, to your media, to your mic, to your camera, to your data, to whatever. And we are blindly pressing OK and continuing. Why? Because we need to use the application. And the application, we are happy that it's for free, but in fact, they are preventing you from using the application if you are not giving all your information to them, especially accessing your camera, mic, and this and that. Do you know that they have full control to open your mic at any time they want? They can listen to you. They can even open your camera. You might have heard the last news where it was reported that iPhone users found out that their cameras were open without being known that it's active and it's recording, and it was operated by some applications in your phone. So it's such a dangerous field if we are oblivious to it, if we are ignorant to it, if we don't know what's going on in our devices. I can accept, maybe this is acceptable from a normal human being that's just using the application to run his daily activities and his daily tasks. But from engineers like you, who are responsible fully to come up with solutions that can prevent this and mitigate this, to protect yourself, your life, your family, your country, whatever, your company, these are important things and nobody can tolerate them. And this is actually still happening. And there is no robust solution so far for these problems. So hopefully in this course, you are going to learn about all these kind of attacks and all these kind of breaches and what you can do about them and how to prevent them. And not only to use the current existing algorithms, but also to think beyond the existing knowledge and come up hopefully together by working together on this, we'll come up with security algorithms that can really improve the security of wireless transmission and the security in general, and make it much more authentic, much more robust, much more secure, and much more resilient against those attacks and those threats that are going on. Now here, the name of the course is wireless security, but what about wired? What's the key difference between wired security and wireless security? I mean, we all know that the internet started almost in 1990, 1991, the World Wide Web. And at that day, at that time, we didn't have smartphones. Yes, guys, we didn't have smartphones. We used to connect with the internet using our personal PCs. Even we didn't have laptops at that time. So basically, the way you connect to the internet, you get your Ethernet cable and you plug it into the network interface card, and you connect with the internet. So this basically is now abandoned. Nobody's doing this anymore. Do you know anybody who's when he wants to connect to the internet who's doing this? No, most of us are using our phones. Most of the time are using our laptops, tablets, which are wirelessly connected. So if you are connected wirelessly, instead of wireless, instead of connecting your devices wirelessly, you connect using wires, then in this case, your communication nodes are physically connected through cables, and in this case, they are physically secure. So you don't need to worry about what if somebody listens to my transmission? What if somebody jams my transmission? What if somebody manipulates my transmission? So mostly, we don't care much about the wireless security in this case. We care much about the application security, the network security, the MAC layer security, and transport layer security. And the way we secure these systems is using most of the time using encryption and cryptography, which are not really sufficient and enough, because I will tell you about their drawbacks and I will show you examples of how people are able to hack them easily. So now compared to wired systems, wireless networks are extremely vulnerable due to the broadcast nature of the wireless mediums. Because whenever you transmit publicly, and you transmit to the air, and you don't have control over your message on the air. I mean, just the air. Anybody can hear it. Anybody can listen to it, although you don't see it. Anybody with some high-tech devices like vector network analyzer can see the signal and capture it and then decode it, decrypt it, and get the data out of it. So it's really very dangerous when you are sending through wireless. You need to make sure that your security is really strong enough to prevent any attack that might happen. Wireless networks are prone to malicious attacks, including eavesdropping attacks, denial of service attacks, spoofing attacks, man-in-the-middle message falsification, and injection attacks as well. As an example, an unauthorized node in a wireless network is capable of inflicting international intentional interference with the objective of disturbing data communication. So not only eavesdropping not only we have man in the middle and denial of service, we have also jamming and interference, which are two critical threats in wireless networks. I mean, you suppose you have your Wi-Fi access point inside your home. Someone can just send a jamming signal with the same frequency of your Wi-Fi access point, but with a much larger power, and can block you out of the access point. You cannot access it anymore by just sending a signal with the same frequency as your access point, but with a much larger power, because the interference being introduced by the intruders is going to be much larger, the power of the interference, than your message, your signal, your intended signal. And in this case, your signal will become like noise. You will not be able to even connect with your Wi-Fi access point. The same happens with the mobile phone providers. If you want to if you want to just cut certain area from the coverage or block the service of a certain mobile operator to a certain area, you just bring a device, vector network generator, signal generator, and just learn. You can analyze the spectrum, analyze the signal, make sure that you detect the frequency of the tower of the cellular network, cellular cell, and just after detecting the frequency, you can generate a signal with much larger power than the signal transmitted from the base station, and direct it towards the tower, and then your tower will be jammed, will get interfered, and your tower will not be able to serve any user. So all the users in that region will not be able to get any service from that mobile operator. Someone can even block all these access points. So the whole networks of a cellular mobile network of a cellular mobile operator can go down due to these attacks. So what can we do to prevent this? What's being done right now? What's stopping? Who can? I mean, really, high-tech people can do this. So we need to be knowledgeable of these attacks. We need to know that there are things like this can happen to our network, and we need to prevent this and stop this. Now, to be more specific about the key differences between wireless networks and wired network, we need to compare them from different perspectives. First, in terms of user mobility, I ask you, which one is more mobile, wireless or wired? Of course, wireless. You don't have any limit. You can move the way you like. You are not connected to a cable. You have full freedom to move in any direction you want, and you will still be connected to your wireless network. While in wired network, you are tethered to, you are just you are limited. You cannot move anywhere you want. You are limited with the length of the cable you are connected with, and due to this, your mobility is limited. You are not free to move the way you like. In terms of office reconfiguration, in wireless networks, it's super simple. You just buy your Wi-Fi router or Wi-Fi access point. You connect it with your Ethernet cable, and you have now Wi-Fi access. You provide Wi-Fi access to all the devices inside your home. But in case you have a wired network, you need to physically connect each and every device inside your home with the cable, which is not efficient. It's gonna be messy and higher. It's gonna cost you a fortune. The cost is much higher. What about reliability? Of course, I mean, when you come to reliability, wireless networks, due to the nature of wireless medium, it's a little bit, you don't have the same reliability as the wired networks. Wired networks, they don't have these phenomenon of wireless medium, like fading, path law, like fading and blockage and these things. So, for example, when you have ADSL, VDSL, or fiber, you don't care about the wireless phenomena. You don't care about reflection, diffraction, and these things. You have very reliable connection. But in case of wireless, you are subject to the environment. But the networks, they have developed techniques to cope up with these difficulties and impairments caused by the channel. What about reliability here? So reliability is very key things. We already talked about reliability. Potential RF interference. Of course, the interference coming to wireless networks much more than the wired network, because the wireless networks are open to the air, while wired networks are not open to the air. There are no potential RF interference in wired. So environment constraints, it can impact the wireless networks here, can impact the signal in wireless network, while in wired network, distance from the switch is the only issue. That's it. I mean, you don't have much more, you don't have many constraints actually. So in terms of security, wireless networks, of course, it's inherently less secure, while wired network is a little bit more secure in terms of it doesn't have access to the wireless medium. Your signal is not on the air. I mean, it's not there on the air. Your signal just confined within the cable. There, if someone wants to hack or listen or this, I mean, aside from the attacks on the other on the application layer, network transport, and Mac, if someone wants to physically uh, hack your system and listen to your communication, he needs to get very closer to the cable and like use induction so that he can generate a new electromagnetic field in his circuit, and from that electromagnetic field, you can listen to the communication going on inside the cable. So, what about connection speeds? Usually slower than in wireless, slower than wired, but that really depends on the technology actually, because nowadays when we have millimeter wave communication systems which are really very fast. So what about wired? Faster than wireless, because sometimes you have, for example, fiber. Fiber is extremely fast, and you cannot really compare it with 3G or Wi-Fi wireless network. It's really fast. Support and troubleshooting in wireless networks, we have it's a little bit difficult in wireless, especially when you want to avoid interference. You need to configure the channels of the Wi-Fi properly. What about wired networks? Physical layer, it's straightforward there. You don't need to care or pay much more attention to the issues caused by the wireless channel. And the switch port, one pair wireless access point in wireless, where here one needed for each live outlet. If you need to connect 10 devices, you need 10 cables. Setup cost relatively low for wireless, more expensive for wired. So these are the key differences between them. Ultimately, the goal of wireless security to make wireless networks as secure as wired networks, and even more. Now, less people are using wired networks, more people are using data wireless networks. So, since more people are using wireless and less people are using wired, and wired is more secure than wireless, we want wireless to be as secure as wired. So, this is the ultimate goal. Hopefully, we can achieve it by using wireless physical layer security techniques. So, apart from their differences, wired and wireless networks, they also share some similarities. For example, both networks, whether wireless or wired, adopt the OSI layer protocol architecture. What's the OSI layer? It's it's a model used to represent the transmission process in the transmitter and receiver over a network, or like over a communication network, where you divide you divide your communication steps into several layers, and each layer is responsible for certain tasks and functionalities. And we have two models in communications. We have the OSI model and the TCP/IP model. The OSI model has 7 layers. The TCP/IP has 4 layers. And usually in the OSI layers, we have the application, presentation, session, transport, network, MAC or data link, and the physical. And you have the wireless medium after that. If the network is wireless, you have wireless medium. If the network is wired, then you have a cable between them. And at the receiver side, node B, you will have the same thing. So the difference between the wired and wireless network mainly lies in the physical and MAC layers. So basically, all the layers above MAC, they are the same for wired and wireless. So those layers are the same for both wireless networks and wired networks, while the key differences lie in the MAC layer and physical layer. The wired and wireless networks share some common security vulnerabilities. since those are the same, okay, then what applies, the security threats that are applied to wired networks are also applicable and still valid to wireless networks at these layers. So application, what I mean by, for example, application security. Let's say you deploy a website on the internet and you use WordPress or Joomla or Drupal or whatever, and you want to secure this website from the attacks, from hijacking, from SQL, whatever. Those kind of attacks have nothing to do with wireless. Actually, they are applicable to both wireless and wired. Let's say you have you want to secure your session or your ports and this, and your connection between the client and the server. This applicable to both wireless and wired. Let's say you want to secure the tunnel, the network route, the network route between the source and destination. You use IPsec, it's network layer. It applies to both. But the Mac and Phi, they have different features and different capabilities in case of wireless and wired. So the functionalities of the MAC layer in wired networks are different from that of wireless, and the physical is also different. So they have. So if we want to summarize them, then we can think of that as two circles. We have wired attacks and wireless attacks, and we have common attacks. The common attacks are related to the common attacks, let's say, are related to the layers above MAC and Phi. And of course, in the application here, I'm putting like presentation session inside the application. I'm not distinguishing them here for simplicity purposes, but usually we have 7 layers. And then we have those first 5 layers. They have common, the attacks are common to both wired and wireless. While for wired networks, they have attacks which are different from wireless, so they are not the same. So this figure also summarizes it in a much better way, where you have these layers they are the same for both networks, while MAC and Phi they are different, and we will explain you exactly within the course the key differences between MAC and Phi. Of course, the people who have strong background in computer networks and communication networks and this, they know what MAC is in wireless, what Phi is in wireless, and they know what MAC is in wired, what Phi is in wired. So this kind of a prerequisite information, it's not related to wireless, but we will talk about the security aspect of these things. So, for example, the multimedia accessing procedures in the wireless MAC is different from the medium access procedures in wired. They are not the same. The same for physical. For example, in physical layer for wireless, you have antennas. You have, but in wired you don't have antennas. So this has some implications and can produce some key differences that you need to be aware of. So those are very important and critical information to be aware of, so that we can have a deeper look and deeper understanding of the key differences between the attacks in wireless and wired networks. And this picture just shows you that the 7 layers, instead of presenting in 5 layers, we are presenting them here in 7 layers, and show you that the functionality and the responsibility of each layer. And basically, we can divide these layers into 3 levels. And we have this first level, we call it software layer. This is kind of software section. This is the software section, where you have session, presentation, application. You have the hardware section. network data link and network, and you have the heart of the OSI layer, which is transport. So
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I cannot see the screen of the layers.
Okay, maybe because of the presentation, we'll fix it. We'll fix it for you. I'm writing things here. Do you see what I'm writing?
No, sir.
No,
sir, we
No, sir.
can't.
Anyway. Okay. Then I will use something else to fix this. But for now, this is, I was drawing things here, but it looks like it doesn't work here.
Yes,
But
sir,
we
we
can
only can listen you. We can't see anything on screen.
Oh, you cannot see the slides?
No, sir.
No
Sir, I can see
slide?
the. Yes, sir, I can see the slide importance of wireless security, but the one you're talking about, I cannot see that.
Yes, sir.
Here, like, okay, we can have a break here, and we can continue after 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Okay.